like you lost another one.
Melanin Athletes highlights the controversial and inspiring stories of some of the best African American collegiate athletes to play the game. On our very first episode, Murray State's basketball's Damon Robinson. Damon's love and passion of the game comes from his dad, who taught him all he needs to know.
Honestly, growing up, I played different sports like football, baseball, but more than likely when I was growing up, football was a little passion. When I got to middle school, that's when I realized like I want to focus on playing basketball. And the main person that stayed in my corner about basketball was my dad, because he played. You know, he ain't go to college or anything, but I'm the first person in my family to ever play a sport and continue to play in a sport and trying to make millions off of it. So I realized basketball was my passion was when I was in like the 6th grade, 7th grade, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that I look up to. And so when I looked up to them, it felt as if it was me out there playing. And so I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can be a basketball player.
Alabama, his home state, supported his dreams before he even knew he had them.
I mean, to be honest, you know, a lot of people watch you play. Games be lit. It be packed, sold out. So a lot of people support the community just by watching us play. It's like, hey, how you doing? I seen you play the other day. You know, you play good, you play hard. And some days they'll let you know like, hey, you ain't play up to your standard. So play hard in this game. So I mean, games growing up in the South, period, it was good, honestly, because it's a lot of people that's watching you and you inspire a lot of people.
You might ask, what keeps Damon going? It's family.
I mean, family, honestly, my family, my mom, my dad, grandma, everybody. But the main person that stuck out, honestly, was my little sister, because, you know, she been through a lot. She's only like 5, she's still a kid, but still like she can't do what she want or how she used to. So that was basically my outlet.
Even with the spotlight in his face, Damon never settled.
No, I didn't. Just doubtness. That's all. People doubted me. And so that made me stronger. I didn't have really struggles. Only struggle I had was when I was in high school and I was on my own with my little brothers, and my sister was in the hospital. So I had to make sure I got money and take care of my family how I wanted to. I mean, it was all over the world, honestly. So that's the only struggle I really had.
Damon is always striving for greatness, but he wants to leave a legacy.
What do I want to be remembered by? You know, people call me Bugs, Boogie, no, but honestly, I got a big heart. You know, a lot of people don't see that, especially as a black male. They always think black males are victims or something, or they're in the wrong. I got a big heart. I'm really passionate about everything. I care so much about so many people. It's crazy. So that's one thing I know I will be remembered by, because my heart is not like no other. Like, I got a big heart.
Who inspired Damon to continue to play the game?
My favorite athlete growing up was DeMarcus Cousins. You know, he came from Alabama. He played down in LaFleur High School. So, and I figured as if he can make it out, like, yeah, I can do it too. But the one that inspired me the most, you know, was the dominant Shaquille O'Neal, because he's so dominant on the inside and outside that he couldn't be stopped by anybody. If you get in his way, you're going to move, or he's going to make you move. So those two really inspired me in so many levels that it's crazy.
Damon wants to inspire the Black youth to pursue their dreams and never give up.
My message is, don't care what anybody says about you, because they're critics. They're on the outside looking in. So if you want to do something, do it. If you are inspired by something, do it. Honestly, it's a lot of hateful and stuff in the world, you know, Black Lives Matter, all that. And riding, it's everything. So if you want to do something, do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You always got to stick with your first plan, but always make sure you have a backup plan. But always stick with your first plan. If you want it, work hard for it.
It looks like you lost another one.
Melanin Athletes highlights the controversial and inspiring stories of some of the best African American collegiate athletes to play the game. On our second episode, Murray State Football's Don Parker. Black athletes strive when given a great support system.
Growing up as a black athlete, I really didn't have any struggles because I grew up in a predominantly black community, so they really supported us on every level of basically any sports that we played. Plenty of opportunities to go out and start our athletic career, whether it's playing travel league or starting with the little league. And as you got there, people notice talent. So once they seen that you're a talent, they push you harder and harder just to let you know yeah, this is what you can do, but it's only up to you to get to the point that you want to get to.
Don's first love of sports came from his family, pushing him to be great.
My family did, because they were definitely one of my biggest support systems. And growing up, I'm gonna say it was hard making it out of the world, where I was, but the stipulations made it harder because of the people that I grew up around. And I would say that my family definitely pulled me away from that and made me get my career started.
It wasn't until Don's 7th grade year till he pursued a new sport.
I was always a basketball player. I know I used to love playing basketball until about, I want to say my 7th grade year. All my friends, they wanted me to come out and play football. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come out and try it. And once I tried it, got into high school, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Football is definitely it.
Don has been big on community since growing up and wanted to continue that togetherness when picking a college.
I picked Murray State because when I came on my visit, I didn't have any D1 offers actually. I had a couple, but whenever I came here, it was different. It was a family feeling. It wasn't even the fact that the team made fucking family. It was the community too, and they just showed how they all came together as one and showed support. And I like that with the coaching staff, from the players, the community.
Don mimics his game from one certain athlete.
My biggest inspiration and also my favorite black athlete would be Cam Chancellor. He was, I'm gonna say, before he got drafted to the Seattle Seahawks in 2010, I used to love watching him at Virginia Tech, and it's just the way that he plays the game, knowing that it's just willpower. It's a man's game, and he showed that he was a man. And basically, he played with speed, power, and he just loved the game. And I just love the way that he played. I really want my game to mimic him, because I know before all my games, that's what I watch, his highlights. And it gets me motivated for my game to get out there and go do the things that he did.
365 days since a college game, Don was hungry to show out.
My favorite football memory was recently, and that was our first game. And everybody knows that since COVID had happened, games been set back, seasons been set back, and we all just been sitting here waiting and just itching to get into another game. So knowing that this was our first game back, everybody had that mojo yeah, we about to go out here and do our thing. So that's what happened. And I went out there, I had an interception and a forced fumble. So it just showed how ready I was and how excited I was.
There is change for black athletes.
Black athletes are underrepresented, but it has gotten a lot better because higher athletes, they are using their platform to basically showcase and speak for society and show that everything is misunderstood in terms of how people are perceiving us.
Believing has always been Don's motivation so he wants the Black youth to do the same.
My message to the Black youth is believe. And when you believe and your opportunity presents itself, take it and just run with it. And then show what you can do. Like, you don't want to be labeled as that statistic as society sees us. And you want to show them that, yeah, we can do more. Instead of just play basketball, we can go to college, we can graduate, and we can actually be successful people.
It looks like you lost another one.
Melanin Athletes highlights the controversial and inspiring stories of some of the best African American collegiate athletes to play the game. On our third episode, Murray State Soccer's Simone Cooper. You could say sports ran in the Cooper family because Simone's mom was a collegiate athlete herself.
Well, I started as a young kid, and my mom, she played basketball in college, so she pushed me to play different types of sports and branch out different sort of things. And I loved all the sports, but I think soccer really spoke to me. It felt right.
With her parents' guidance, Simone always worked hard.
My mom and my dad, they both inspire me. My mom, she is someone that gives me great advice. She's just the brain. She's the one that talks me out of situations and makes me see the bigger picture. And my dad, he's like my engine. He keeps me going. He tells me every day that work hard to get to this, and you're capable of getting this. He sees my potential, basically.
Overcoming sports stereotypes is nothing new for Simone.
As a Black athlete, it was difficult because people always underestimated me. I felt like I had a lot to give, and people just didn't see that. So I actually use that as motivation to be better and show them that I can be the best athlete possible.
Black athletes are so much more than just strength, and Simone wants to prove them wrong.
People don't tend to think that Black athletes have brains. They're more like speed and strength and power, but I want to prove that wrong. It's like Black athletes have the IQ of sports. They're capable of being smart.
Simone's inspiration comes from an athlete who she can relate to.
Venus Williams, because she is someone that I can see myself in. Like, she's a tall, lanky, Black athlete that people see and they're like, oh, she's not the typical athlete. Like, she doesn't look like a tennis player, and people look at me and they're like, oh, she's not a soccer player, she's something else. But I admire her because she sees the bigger picture. So when she wins or loses something, she's on to the next thing. Winning is great, winning is awesome, but at the same time, you have to keep building onto that. That's what makes her a great athlete, is because she keeps it moving. She just doesn't stay stagnant. She's always looking to the future, doesn't dwell on the past.
Supporting women's sports is the change that we need.
The change that I want to see is more people supporting women instead of just women. I loved seeing the guy from Alabama doing the Mega Rapinoe celebration. That really inspired me, and I loved that so much. It was just nice to see people doing the LeBron James celebration. They were representing the Mega Rapinoe of how awesome she is, because she's an amazing athlete, and it's just awesome to see other sports love soccer.
Being anything you want to be is her message to the Black youth.
Not let anyone put you in a box. People put Black athletes in a box and describe them in a similar way, like Black females are this or Black males are this, and I don't like being put in a box, because I'm so much more than that. You're so much more than just a fast, powerful, you're smart, you can be anything you want to be, basically.
Looks like you lost another one.
Melanin Athletes highlights the controversial and inspiring stories of some of the best African American collegiate athletes to play the game. On our 4th episode, Murray State Track and Field's Amir Evans.
Amir Evans, Murray State.
Amir's family continues to push her and gives her something to live for.
My family motivates me a lot in my sport because my mom, she's like my rock. She does not take it easy on me. She does not give me the easy way out. She's my hardest and my biggest critique. And like sometimes I come to her and I just want to hear what I want to hear, like, oh, Amir, it's going to be okay. But she's like, no, you got to push through it. You got to work hard. And she just gives it to me straight up. And then again, seeing my sister just succeed, graduate college, it just motivates me even more. And then my brother, I know I have to be a good example for him because he looks up to me. He's the next one to go to college, so I know I've got to do everything right to give him an example to live by.
Being a female athlete is different in many ways.
I get as much recognition, or no one really cares about our games, our practices as much as boys, where it's always, oh, they have a game tonight, or even pro, college, high school, they're always more worried about the male athletes more, and then females, we don't get as much recognition.
Since track is predominantly a black sport, Amir feels connected.
With my sport, I think there's not really that much of a difference because when I think of track, it's predominantly black. The only thing I'd say is a little different is that when you see the runners to your left and your right, you're trying to size them up and ooh, she looks like she's kind of slow. And then just being black, you're surrounded by them, so you know everybody's good, everybody's gonna give it their all. So you just you have to think oh, I'm gonna have to go this one.
Amir has followed her favorite athlete's career and tries to mimic his way of life.
Kevin Durant. I just love the effort he puts in and just his enthusiasm for the game. And even since I've watched interviews and just videos of him since he was in high school, and even now a lot of people don't like him because trading teams and stuff, and he doesn't really care about the criticism. He doesn't care about what other people think. He just plays the game and does what he knows.
Amir has always been a record breaker and continued to do so in college.
Winning the 4x8 and getting the school record, that was pretty intense and really got my adrenaline going. And I think it gave everybody a lot of momentum for the rest of the meet. So I'd have to say that's my favorite memory so far.
Amir says that missing piece for female athletes is
a little more recognition and respect. The same things that males are offered, I want us to have that. Just for example, 2K, I like how we're now you can play it with female the WNBA. Just having the same, we should be offered the same opportunities as them, and it shouldn't be just because a few of us do it because we're girls. There should be no question.
Black athletes need to unite, and Amir thinks just that.
I just want to see more togetherness, us working together, picking each other up, motivating each other, working together.
Determination and hard work can take you a long way, and that's her message to the black youth.
Just determination and hard work. Really, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. And I know it's easier said than done. Everybody's oh, if you work hard, you're gonna get there. Being your role model, they really did put in the hours, and they did come from not nothing, but a lot of people start small and they just work and they get better. And so if you just keep at it, you're gonna get it.
Leaving a positive legacy behind is Amir's ultimate goal.
I have a big personality and an energetic personality, so when I want people to think of me, I'm oh, she had a good attitude. She was a good person, you know?
It looks like you lost another one.
Melanin Athletes highlights the controversial and inspiring stories of some of the best African American collegiate athletes to play the game. On our 5th episode, Murray State Volleyball's Jayla Holcomb. Limited sports teams when she was younger drew Jayla to volleyball.
I started like camps in like 3rd grade, but that was it. Like my first camp was 3rd grade, and then I did like summer camps. But my first team, I was actually going to do basketball. But my school didn't have sports, so I had to go to another school, and I went to a Catholic school. So they didn't have enough people, so that was in the basketball. I never tried again. So 6th grade came around, I've been doing camps, so why not try for a volleyball team? So that's when I decided to start like doing volleyball.
Jayla had a huge support system, but her mom was her number one.
My mom, my grandparents, coaches, basically everybody around me just wanted to see me be successful. Like really my mom did a lot with club fees and everything, like she made it happen. So I feel like everyone was my support system.
Being a black female athlete comes with adversity, and Jayla overcame it all.
As a black female athlete, my struggles were people thinking that I wasn't good enough, or as a black athlete, they don't think you know everything, or they talk to you like you can't understand it. But when I first started on my middle school team, it was a white school, so I was the only black girl. So when I came, they're like, oh wow, she already knows like the basics, like bumping, setting, all of that stuff. But it wasn't a hard struggle, but when I first tried to get on the team, they told me it was filled up. Like my PE teacher worked up there at the school I played for also, and she would come back and tell me, yeah, they're filled up. Like it's like they didn't want black kids to come play up there. So my mom called. Up there. She's like, well, my daughter goes to Cecilia Bowman, she wants to play. And they're like, oh, well, tell her to come up here. But my PE teacher told me it was full. So like that was my first sign of like, yeah, a little racist thing.
Mental toughness is very important for black athletes.
Playing with white athletes and being the only black athlete, it makes you mentally tougher, because as a black athlete, when I played in high school with a whole bunch of black girls, it was a big thing on mental. So when you play with the white girls and you see how they handle their mess ups, it's never a breakdown, shutdown, it's straight to business. Like that helps a lot. Time to break down. You don't have time to do bad or get in your head. We have a game to play. We have a game to win.
Jayla's favorite black athlete inspires her every day.
Don Harper, because she's from where I'm from. She's from East St. Louis. She grinds hard. She's an Olympic gold medalist. Even though she's track, she's still one of my favorite because she, she like sets an example for me. So if I see her working hard and I want to be like her, I want to strive to be the best person I can be, the best athlete. So she's my favorite.
Jayla lives by never giving up, and she wants black athletes to do the same.
For black athletes, I just want to say, don't give up. Just because you have other people telling you different or their opinions don't matter. If it's something you want to do, do it.
Breaking barriers is the key for female athletes.
As a female athlete, don't let the standards of you being female and male to male, you can do anything that you want to do. If you feel like it's possible, it's possible. If you work at it, you work at it. Don't be discouraged to go out there in the world and do different stuff just because you're a female.
Jayla wants to make a change in the world, and being a teacher will allow her to do so.
The reason I want to be a teacher is because I want to be able to help the kids grow up, because I want to teach younger kids like the babies. So as they grow up, they know how to act, respect, they know to never give up, basically what I was taught when I was younger. And to be able to help them out and have them get a good start.
Work hard and prove them wrong is her message to the black youth.
My message is to stay strong. Don't let no one ever tell you that you're not good enough or that you can't do it because for something that you're black, or it's going to be a lot of people that tear you down. But just keep on doing what you're doing, work harder, prove them wrong.
Showed up and showed out is her philosophy of life.
I want to be remembered by that hard-working volleyball girl, black female athlete, and someone who never gave up, who worked hard every day in practice, who worked hard at every game, and showed up and showed out.